Alrighty, welcome back to another episode of Two Plane Sports. Today is Wednesday, April 12th, and what do you know? Oklahoma has basically a five-star on campus this past week or a couple days ago. Oklahoma did end up losing out on a linebacker to Ohio State, which at one point we thought was going to be a Sooner. We've got some thoughts on that. And then we're going to be talking another five-star, Bryant Wesco, his review, thoughts of his top four and things like that. And then we're going to go through one by one and fill out this 2024 class. We're going to set it at 25. That's what we're going to assume, 25 commits. We've already got two. So we're going to come up with 23, and each one of us gets one pick at a time. And we just have to work with, if Brandon picks every five-star out there, we just have to go with that. So, which is fair. I mean, I don't know why a five-star would want to play at Oklahoma, but anyway. So let's start with the kind of downer news is Peyton Pierce, 2024 four-star linebacker out of Lovejoy, Texas, ultimately chose Ohio State yesterday afternoon for his commitment. Committed to James Laurinaitis. If you guys have been following his recruitment like we have, he's grown up an Oklahoma fan. He's got OU ties. His family's an Oklahoma family. He's in North Texas, basically Oklahoma South. And unfortunately, it seems like Oklahoma has lost him to the Buckeyes, obviously, at this point. Not saying it's totally over because things do tend to change. But I tell you what, the Buckeyes are on a tear right now, and the Buckeyes are good at making kids commit now rather than later. This is not the first time. I mean, just a week and a half ago, James Peoples just announced his official visit list. The next day, he commits to the Buckeyes. It's a different approach to recruiting. Oklahoma plays more of the long game and make sure that you're all in. And Ohio State seems to maybe get you on board whenever you're not 100% in, but then sells you on it once you're in. Jose, what do you think about this loss? Whenever we go through our 24 class projection, we kind of talked about it before we got on the show. Peyton Pierce, it was kind of important for this class in the linebacker position, and not saying that Oklahoma can't get a talented player like a Sammy Brown. The odds are just stacked against him. Peyton Pierce seemed to be the crown jewel that Oklahoma really was wanting that was realistic. What do you think?
It's definitely not ideal to lose out on Peyton Pierce for the many reasons you mentioned. But just like you feel about Aaron Flowers, where Oklahoma might be, you still believe, and maybe it's changed in the last few days, but last time we talked about Aaron Flowers, you said you believe that he will still be a Sooner by the time that it comes to National Signing Day. I don't particularly agree about Flowers, but that's how I feel about Peyton Pierce for the reasons that you mentioned. His family is all Oklahoma. He grew up an Oklahoma fan. He's pretty close to Oklahoma. So, yes, it's unfortunate for the moment. And Ohio State is on a tear. They took essentially two of the biggest recruits that Oklahoma has been going after for the last, 4 to 6 months, in Peyton Pierce and James Peoples here in the last 2 weeks. But both of those kids, if their plans are still as they were laid out beforehand, they're still expected to be visiting Oklahoma between now and National Signing Day. James Peoples is supposed to be at the spring game here in less than 2 weeks, and he mentioned that he was going on an official visit in June. Peyton Pierce, he visited last time I believe he visited was in June, end of January. He mentioned that he would be back sometime later in the spring. Could be the spring game. As long as Oklahoma doesn't just say, all right, you've committed, we're no longer recruiting you, which would be very unlike this staff, then I truly believe Peyton Pierce is going to be a kid that is going to circle back and maybe decommit for a little bit from Ohio State. And even if he ends up going there when it's all said and done, Oklahoma is going to put up a fight to make sure that doesn't happen, just like they did with David Hicks. Just because it didn't go Oklahoma's way doesn't mean Oklahoma didn't try to make that flip at the last second. We'll see what happens when December does come around with Peyton, but I truly believe that because of the ties to the program, how well, it looked like Oklahoma was positioned to land his commitment. OU's not going to give up on this, and Peyton Pierce might look back and, or is probably isn't going to just say no, I'm not going to go, because, like you mentioned, Ohio State does have a very different approach to Oklahoma, and they are okay with their guys going to visit other schools regularly.
Yeah, the Peyton Pierce thing sucks right now because, I mean, you grew up a Sooner fan and to lose to Ohio State, that sucks. Like, I don't understand what went wrong there because I don't feel like Oklahoma was not trying. So I don't know really where we missed there. It's unfortunate. But I agree. I think Oklahoma will keep pushing. I'm not a big fan of Ohio State right now. I kind of hate what they're doing because James Peoples was my favorite running back in the class, and they went and got him. But you mentioned the spring game thing. I, at this point, would almost be surprised if he actually went to the spring game. Just going off of his social media presence and how much he is buckeying up, which, and obviously he's committed there, so he's going to play that part on social media. But he seems pretty dialed into the Buckeyes. But that being said, if he actually does end up coming to the spring game, I think some shit's going to change there because it's going to be impossible not to. You get 75,000 at a spring game and you're there as a kid, that's going to change your mind. It's going to make you second guess some things. I don't know, guys. I hope Peyton Pierce ends up flipping. I'm with you guys. I think Oklahoma will keep trying, but I don't think it was a lack of effort in the first place. I think we just got beat up by Ohio State, and that shows you that Ohio State's on something right now. So we'll see.
And, Jose, I agree with you. I mean, there is a world where he could end up being a Sooner just because of the ties. And when it does come time, it might be too much to say no to Oklahoma. And I think he's the type of kid that Oklahoma would probably take his commitment at any point. He's got a spot regardless, just because it's a linebacker position, not like a wide receiver. But James Laurinaitis is the important factor here. It's the reason why you heard all the momentum with Notre Dame when it seemed like it was all Oklahoma, and then Notre Dame kind of came out of the blue. It's James Laurinaitis. The Buckeyes hired James Laurinaitis, and immediately the Notre Dame fell off, and Laurinaitis and the Buckeyes were skyrocketing. And Brandon, I do agree with you. There is a reason why Oklahoma is not getting his commitment right now, or at least he's uncommitted. Not necessarily committing anywhere. There is a reason. I just think he's a huge Laurinaitis fan, and I think he really likes Laurinaitis, and I think that is ultimately the decision factor in his recruitment. And as long as Laurinaitis is there, I just have a hard time seeing him leaving him. But if there's a linebacker coach that can in the country, it's Brent Venables. And at the end of the day, I think he'll have a spot regardless.
I think you just got to get Pierce on the show, boys, and try to swing him in the right direction.
Yeah, we need to put our effort in and start recruiting him and convince him.
Come to Oklahoma.
Convince him the Crimson is better than the Scarlet. So, yeah. So, anyway, it does sting. I'm not going to sit here and act like this is, well, Oklahoma didn't want him anymore, because some people will claim that that's the only reason why we say that people don't go to Oklahoma.
Those are the real fans.
Yeah, those are the real fans. It's clear that Oklahoma wanted him badly. And the way that this class was shaping up, this one really hurts. And I'm not going to sit here and act like it doesn't.
James Laurinaitis is a fantastic name for a linebacker coach. Linebacker too. That's Laurinaitis, badass.
It just sounds like someone that would hit you hard.
Yeah,
lay the wood. So, anyway, so let's move on to some more positive news. So Oklahoma on Monday hosted 2025 borderline 5-star. I'm just going to say 5-star. He's the number 35 player overall, according to the composite rating right now for 247. Andrew Marsh, 6'1", 173-pound wide receiver out of Full Steer, Texas. And he is a track and field player, or he runs track and field, plays football, obviously. And as a freshman and sophomore, he put together 84 catches, 1,256 yards, and 16 touchdowns. Pretty impressive playing in Texas high school football as a freshman and a sophomore. Oklahoma, Emmett Jones. I know we were a little unsure about, maybe not necessarily unsure, but we weren't really familiar with Emmett Jones before he came to OU. But he recruits the state of Texas for wide receivers and even some other positions extremely well, and he's highly regarded. You can tell we're going to be talking about Bryant Wesco and then Zion Kearney and others. And Andrew Marsh seemed to have a really good visit. Emmett Jones is a guy that it seems like a lot of players want to go play for, especially out of the state of Texas, because he's on those guys very early on when he was at Texas Tech, and he's doing the same at OU. So with him being on campus, the wide receiver room I just don't feel like it's a position of concern. I think since he's been hired, we've seen an uptick in the wide receiver recruiting. I know there hasn't been a commitment yet, but it seems like a lot of positive momentum and a lot of things are about to come to fruition. Brandon, what do you think?
I'm going to go out now and say I think Oklahoma lands both Andrew Marsh, who's going to be a 5-star in the 25 class, and we land 5-star Bryant Wesco in this class. I think both those guys ultimately end up Sooners. With Andrew Marsh, I think obviously his game is really, really good. To put up those kind of numbers as a freshman and sophomore against really good high school competition in Texas is impressive. I think the only thing with Marsh, as far as getting ready for the college game, he's a little bit small at 170, I think. But maybe not. I don't know. I think he can just bulk up a little bit, lift some weights. I think he's gonna be a Sooner, and he's gonna be pretty damn good. I think we get Bryant Wesco too. Wednesday, April 12th. You guys can book it. I said it here.
Well, Andrew Marsh, it's important that we got on him early. The momentum that Oklahoma's seeing right now with wide receiver recruiting, with the names that you mentioned in Wesco and Kearney and Andrew Marsh in the 25 class. And I always forget the other kids' names, but there's a lot of highly rated 4-star and 5-star kids that are looking at Oklahoma as a possible landing spot for them. Is really, it's kind of taking me back to last recruiting cycle with Todd Bates and the defensive line room. Oklahoma was in with a lot of highly rated 4-star and 5-star players. Now, obviously, last year didn't go as planned, and we all know that. Not trying to bring us back to those not great times for recruiting, but it is kind of similar with the momentum. It seemed like Oklahoma was going to be the landing spot for quite a bit of them. Hopefully, it goes in the right direction for Emmett Jones. The fact that most of these kids are from Texas, he's going to a stomping grounds. He's got relations with these high school coaches and high school programs to make sure that he's one of the earliest impressions in getting kids to really take Oklahoma seriously as part of their recruitment. Andrew Marsh is talented. I don't know if I completely agree with the slim. He's just 16, so he'll naturally bulk up. Maybe by the time he's in college, he'll be 180. But we'll see what happens. Again, 25, for some reason, it seems like we have just as much momentum in 25 or more than we do with the 24 guys. And it might just be because we're not really seeing kids in the 24 class commit. Like Ohio State and Michigan are on a tear right now, but again, looking at the entire recruiting landscape, it's kind of quiet everywhere. You're not seeing a ton of kids commit right now. Summer is probably going to change all of that, but especially for Oklahoma, it's a pretty slow spring, an unexpected slow spring when it comes to commitments.
It is a little bit slower, and I got a question for you. So you ran track. How is the time on a 400 meter of 50.24 seconds?
It's going pretty fast. I would say he's hauling ass.
Yeah.
It's been some time since I ran track, so I'm not going to pretend like I remember what I ran, but definitely wasn't that fast. I was a mid distance runner, so
yeah,
never tried to go that fast.
Yeah. And he's in 2022, he's the Texas District 19 6A Newcomer of the Year as a sophomore. So he's playing 6A football in the state of Texas.
Go out to the track and run one lap as fast as we can and see what we're looking like.
Oh, I probably would do it like in 100 seconds if I'm being completely honest. So, I wouldn't be able to compete.
Not much of a sprinter either. Sprinting is stupid.
Yeah. But really, it seems like early on in his recruitment, it seems like it's an OU, LSU, maybe a USC battle. He likes Emmett Jones. He likes Cortez Hankin, who's the wide receiver coach at LSU. USC will always be a force as much as we do not care about them. He's just coming off of a visit to the Trojans. So I think Oklahoma's in a good spot for him. But I still think that there's a long way to go here, and hopefully we see him on campus relatively soon. And then we'll kind of be able to really tell truly where he sits and where he stands with everything. So Again, never hurts to get him on campus. Can't complain. But let's stay in the wide receiver room. So Oklahoma is basically in a top 4. I mean, not basically. They're in a top 4 for 2024 5-star wide receiver, the number 9 player overall, and the number 3 wide receiver in the class, according to 247, Bryant Wesco. He's got a top 4. They're all the warm ones on his 247 profile of Clemson, LSU, Oklahoma, and TCU. Really, TCU, you look at them, Quentin Johnston, Malcolm Kelly. We're obviously very familiar with Malcolm Kelly. TCU had a great season as well. Look at LSU, Cortez Hankin. He's a great coach. He's a great recruiter. He's kind of like an Emmett Jones, kind of has that same factor. In Clemson and Oklahoma, it's the culture. He wants the development of more than just a football player, developing him for life after football, even if he doesn't make the NFL. And Oklahoma and Clemson offer that. The one thing that Oklahoma offers that no one else offers is his sister plays soccer for Oklahoma. He's got connections to Oklahoma, but that's his top 4 right now. I really like where Oklahoma sits here, and I think this is a one that could pop by the 4th of July. That's my gut. Brandon, maybe 4th of July. That's when he'll announce his commitment. I don't know, but Brandon, you obviously said that you think he's going to be in this class. Top 4 doesn't really shock me.
It's because of the culture fit thing, man. It's really that easy. And I think, a top 10 player in the class overall, he's got to be number 3 receiver, number 2 receiver in the entire class. I mean, if he's serious about wanting to be developed beyond the football field, Clemson's a good place for that too. But I really don't think there's a better spot than Oklahoma. That soul mission is really working wonders. The coaching staff really cares about that kind of stuff. We are locked in on developing kids, and that's the reason I'm picking Wesco to Oklahoma. And that's got to be the highest receiver recruitment we've had since Hazelwood, probably. Jaden Hazel was pretty highly touted. I think Bryant Wesco will fare better in his collegiate career than did Jaden Hazelwood, but we'll see. And hopefully he's really close with his sister too, because that never ever hurts to have. It's the same thing with David Stone, to have family on campus. It doesn't hurt your cause in recruiting these big fish.
Yeah, 100% agree with all of that. I think what is going to be key for Oklahoma here in securing Bryant Wesco for this class is making sure they can lock it down before the beginning of this next fall with the football season. If they let it go through the football season, that's where it can get dangerous, because Jeff Lebby, amazing offensive coordinator, he obviously it's not perfect. There's things that we all believe that could be improved. But Clemson now has Garrett Riley, also an amazing offensive coordinator, put up big numbers last year. As much as you don't like it,
as much as his brother.
It doesn't matter. It's true. So
after a season they had, that's just I just can't stand.
If the Clemson offense is as good as Garrett Riley had TCU going, it's going to be tough for Oklahoma. It's going to be an Oklahoma-Clemson battle from where I sit, and as long as Oklahoma can lock it down, because like you said, Brandon, it does not hurt to have a sister there. We're significantly closer, obviously in distance to his home. So just making sure that there's not questions don't start creeping in his mind, like, in which offense can I be best in? Will it be with Garrett Riley in Clemson, or will it be with Jeff Lebby in Oklahoma? And that's really going to be if it goes into the football season.
Going forward, I think Oklahoma has the edge at quarterback going forward.
Yeah, possibly. They have Cade Klubnik next year. I'm not sure who's behind him. I know we're obviously all high on Jackson Arnold, but
I think Jackson Arnold's going to be really, 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 really good. So I don't know.
I think that's going to be the biggest thing. If you can secure it before fall starts, then it's fantastic. If fall comes around and he's still not committed, then maybe there might be something to look at there to try to. Hopefully, it still goes Oklahoma's way, but I could see that could be a dangerous spot for his commitment.
Yeah, we'll see. But you like that he's already down to 4, basically. We're not dropping top 12s or 15s or 20s. So we're not too terribly far away. Progress. So let's move on to the final section. But before we do that, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn the notification bell on. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Apple, Spotify, and TikTok. Everything's in the description below. If you're listening to us on Apple or Spotify, be sure to leave us a review on those platforms. So let's move on to a little segment that Jose came up with. Let's fill out the rest of the 2024 class. We obviously have Newcomb already and Hawkins. 2 have been spoken for. Jose, you came up with it. I'll give you the floor to give the first one. And we're going to 25.
So I'm going to put Peyton Pierce in at one of the linebacker spots. I really believe that that Oklahoma's not giving up on it. I know that he's obviously committed, so it's fresh. Probably not going to be pushing for his commitment like tomorrow, but give it a couple weeks, maybe a month, and things will start maybe opening up there for Oklahoma to get back in.
David Stone.
Okay. That's
biggest
fair.
class for Oklahoma, I think, and I don't think there's any way we lose him. We've been saying it all along this show. I'm just gonna lock in David Stone right away.
Okay.
And the Q&A he's been doing, I know it's getting a lot of OU fans a little riled up, good and bad, but it seems like OU's still in a good spot.
Yeah. Number 5, the one tight end in this class, in my opinion, is Devon Mitchell. I think he reclassifies.
I'm going to take Brandon's, and I'm going to go with Bryant Wesco.
Good job, Jack.
Wide receiver spots.
Thanks, bud. Let's go Caden Durham. I think he's one of the running backs. I ultimately wanted James Peoples was my number 1, but I'm going to lock Caden Durham.
Okay. I think my other running back would be Jeremy Payne. I know there's a lot of momentum, or at one point there was with Tavani Mizell. I think the longer that it gets away from the visit, I just wonder if it's going to go elsewhere.
I'm going to go to the defensive line and say Williams-Nwaneri. There's just a lot of connections there.
Great course that we wanted. I mean, I agree. If we get Stone and Nwaneri, I'm good with the class already. I'm going to keep a D-line and go Nigel Smith. I know you're not very high on that, but I think we get all 3 of those. Those are the 3 I've been wanting the most the whole class. I think we don't sit in the greatest of spots with Nigel Smith right now, but I think ultimately we close and finish with Nigel. I mean, he came on the show, boys. That means he's coming.
Yeah. Yeah. Filling out the wide receiver room, Zion Kearney. I think he's in this class.
All right, this is when it starts getting defensive back, Eli Bowen. We always forget about him for some reason. I think we kind of just assume he's in the class already, but he's yet to commit. Obviously, of course, the ball was put in for him quite a bit ago when his brother was about to commit to OU, but it seems like OU's still in a good position there.
Defensive back, Kobe Black. 5-star. He's that recruitment we don't really know much about. I'm just picking Oklahoma to win out because there's really no clear-cut favorite at the moment. I think Jay Valai is really, really good at what he does. So I'm picking Oklahoma there.
Okay. I'll finish out the wide receiver class in Isaiah McMorris.
I'm going to go – I think Oklahoma takes a second quarterback. And we kind of discussed it before the show because we all agreed. I'm going to go with Samaj Jones.
Okay.
That really seems like the only other quarterback that OU's in a good position for right now. Could be someone else that we're not aware of, but for now I'm going to pick Samaj.
And then here's the end of video challenge then. So that will be the first time in 18 years that Oklahoma has landed two quarterbacks in one class. So the challenge obviously is who were the 2 quarterbacks in the 2006 class that Oklahoma landed. Sam Bradford's one of them. You guys know the other one?
I don't
either. I was hoping y'all would know.
No, I don't know.
That's okay. All right. Back up. So this is where it gets tricky.
We're 15 in, so we got 10 left.
Fox Crater. Just came to town. I think we flip him.
Okay. Staying on the offensive line, I think Bennett Warren is in this class.
Sorry, boys, writing him down real quick. I'm going to go with defensive back, Jalen Hardy.
Isaiah Autry. O-line.
Autry, okay. I'm going to finish out the offensive lineman and Caden Massey. 3-star. We're 5 left.
So I think Oklahoma will take another one, and I don't think you said it, bro, right here, but you said it before the show, in Casey Poe.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Edwin Spillman. We're gonna somehow no, never mind. He's going to Tennessee, boys. That
Yeah, I was about to say I don't know what you're smoking.
You're
but
reaching there.
Sammy Brown.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Why not?
Sammy Brown. I mean,
How many 5-stars that we have right now?
I don't know.
5. We would have Kobe Black. We would have, Kobe Black, Bryant Wesco, David Stone, Williams Nwaneri, and Sammy Brown.
Is Devon Mitchell a 5 if he actually reclassifies, which it looks like he's going to end up doing?
Yeah.
He would be a fringe, potentially.
The one guy that's for sure that we're going to take is Michael Patterson McDonald.
Oh, that's a good.
So we got 3 left.
You have to have him to get David Stone, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna defer my pick here and go back to whoever's struggling right now, boys.
Struggling.
From Oklahoma, Xadavian Sims. Flip. I don't know. Can we get him to start leaning in the right direction?
I think it might be. There might be too many cooks in the.
That's a tall task.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Ajone.
Ajone?
You're talking about the defensive lineman?
Yeah, defensive lineman.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember his exact name, but I think another linebacker ends in this class. I don't think Sammy Brown does, but I think Jordan Lockhart does. 24, and then you said Ajone, so that's 25.
Yeah, Joseph Jonah Ajone.
All right, there's 25. If Oklahoma pulls off this 25 person class, they'll have the best class in the country and arguably probably one of the best ones ever. So
that's no bias at all, though. We gave great analysis here,
and obviously we're definitely going to get half of this wrong.
The title 76 5-stars coming to Oklahoma in the 24 class.
We're going to have to enter on the calculator and see where that would put Oklahoma, because I would bet that would be
If we ever considered applying for a job at 24/7 as a recruiting analyst, they've watched this video, we would all get cut on the spot.
Yes.
Nah.
And in all reality, if we're being realistic, I think the 5-stars that end up in this class are Bryant Wesco, David Stone, and Williams Nwaneri.
I think you're in a really good spot for Kobe Black, though. I genuinely think that there's a real possibility Kobe Black commits. There's no leader right now, so why not us?
It's a defensive back. I know we pulled Peyton Bowen. I'm just keeping my expectations and my hopes. My expectations are low. My hopes.
If you get David Stone and you get Williams Nwaneri, 2 5-stars to go with PJ, who's already a 5-star on the D line. What happens when the quarterback's under pressure? What happens when the quarterback's getting dicked on by D linemen? They throw.
I agree.
Footballs. When stupid footballs get thrown, who loves it the hardest?
I understand. It's just Kobe Black is down to what, like a top 12 or top 11 or something like that. I think Oklahoma can make a run. I'm just keeping, and I just don't see Sammy Brown.
That I feel good still.
I don't see Sammy Brown as much as I hope. I don't see him being in this class.
4, top 5. You're already at a 20% chance.
I agree, but he's out of the state of Georgia. I think it's going to be hard to get him away from UGA or Clemson.
Maybe he doesn't teach. And Clemson, South Carolina sucks. The only thing that South Carolina has is basic training, and no one wants to go there anyway.
For the Space Force.
So I'm going to go with Bunny here with Kobe Black. Alabama, just off the top of our heads, might be the biggest competitor there. But Jay Bly has shown that he can compete against them. I know it's a top 12 idea. It's a fair argument, but and his brother plays for Oklahoma State. It's not like, his family would be traveling to Oklahoma regularly anyways. Might as well go to a winning school and then go to shit stain of Stillwater.
I'm hopeful, but it's just looking historically, putting more than 2 or 3 5-stars in a class is a rarity.
Let's be rare.
Hey, that's fine for the rare, right?
For the rare, baby.
So, but anyway, I mean, overall, I agree, Jose. We're probably going to be half wrong with this, but we're probably going to hit some of these, and it'll be fun to kind of look back on this
video.
video.
Some of those, like that's just if we don't hit any of those, we need to quit the show immediately. We need to quit talking sports. We need to quit watching sports if we go 0 for 25 here.
Yeah, we probably have to cancel.
Well, we can't because we have 2 guys that were already locked in. So unless they decommit and we truly go 0 for 25, then I would agree. We should just stop everything we're doing and maybe go try to study science and be astronauts or some shit because clearly sports aren't our thing.
We're not. Definitely, we're not
figure out sports. I think that's
we got to focus somewhere else. I don't know. Maybe pickleball. That's becoming a cool thing now.
Tennis.
NASA.
Yeah, easy.
Oh man,
how hard is it? Just go to space.
Can't be that hard. Some people don't even think it happened.
Yeah, we love NASA, just like Bubs loves NASA. I have to give the shout out. Some people will get that reference, but anyway. All right. Well, I don't have anything else. Brandon or Jose, do you have
the individual challenge
before
with the 2006 quarterbacks, which I don't know the other one. It was Sammy B and somebody else. We'd have to look it up, but somebody in the comment section might know. So that is the individual challenge. If you guys have another one, kind of do a bonus one, you can. Or
I don't have anything. I mean, and I'm not going to spoil the answer, even with me Googling. So I'm.
Did you just figure it out?
No, I haven't. I'm scrolling through the 247 page.
Yeah, I am. I'm not 100% sure.
Right. Well, someone give us the answer.
Yeah. Well, gosh, now I'm trying to figure it out. Now you got me going down the rabbit hole on it.
I'm looking anyway, now.
Yeah, I'm looking. I know people are probably like, why don't they just end the show already at this point? Oh, there's no way I would have gotten that.
I wouldn't either.
No way.
Also, this class is wild. Trent Williams was a 3-star. Sammy B was a 3-star.
Gerald McCoy was in that class.
Yeah.
Yeah. DeMarco Murray was in that class. Jermaine Gresham. That pretty solid class right there. But anyway. All right. Well, made it this far. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Apple, Spotify, and TikTok. Everything's linked in the description below, and we will catch you guys on Friday.